And as a young kid, I was very into sports. We used to play soccer every Monday night in the summer, and in the winter it would be basketball. And all of us young kids, we just did a lot together. And I was walking up the hill to go across the road to where the food was being served, and I saw him. And I, in my exuberance, ran over and, I hollered his name. I go, Stan, it's so good to see you. And gave him this great big hug, and he gives me a smile, and we're chatting and whatnot. And anyway, it was over in the span of seconds, but it was just this connection. I'm a huge hugger. So that was natural. And he wasn't surprised by it because, we hugged lots of times before. Mm-hmm. Anyway, I carried on. And later on that afternoon, I heard some girls talking about me. And I overheard the conversation, and I was absolutely devastated. His girlfriend, who I didn't know was his girlfriend, he was with some people there, some other kids. She was telling people that I was trying to steal her boyfriend. And I can remember going down to my parents to the trailer and just in tears, like I couldn't believe that somebody would say that. I mean, this is my buddy Stan, like seriously, where did that come from? Yeah. And my dad was in the trailer, and so I'm all upset. And the reason that I tell this story is because what he said has affected how I see other people, how I see the world, how I treat other people. And he just said to me, he said, Rhonda, everyone is entitled to their opinion. You don't have to like it. You don't even have to agree with it. But you do have to accept that they're entitled to have it. And in that moment, I can't say that I was appreciative of those words. But in hindsight, they have served me so well. And I use them often in my own head, accepting what other people say. Their experience is completely different than mine. And it's okay that it's different. And what makes their experience theirs is their uniqueness. It's the view that they see it from because of their life, their experience, their education, their exposure, whatever it is. And it's different than mine. So yes, at 13 years old, I learned a very, very valuable lesson that has helped me. And I'm now 60. And I could take you to the spot. I could reenact the whole thing. It had a profound effect on me.
Yeah. Oh, I remember someone once telling me how when you get emotional about something, then you actually learn it. And you could hear something over and over and over again. I remember once asking a teacher, why do I have a hard time with math? I can't. I love English. I'm great with English. He said, well, try to get emotional about math then. Maybe that'll help you remember. And it's like, okay, I tried to really get it going for equations, and it didn't work. It couldn't stick. But that idea that, when all of you is involved in a particular moment, then a message really, really drives home, and it can really stick with you. As opposed to all the other times when we try to learn stuff. Okay, for this segment, what we're going to do is have a little fun and workshop a startup idea. What I'm looking for is Rhonda's unique attitude, your mindset, how you would approach helping a business, or maybe being brought in as a consultant to give advice on where somebody could go. So the parameters are, you don't have a lot of advertising budget. Let's say there's pretty much almost none. And let's say you're giving yourself 6 to 9 months to have some sort of success with this idea. So I'm just curious, where would Rhonda take it? So let's say, here's 2 different ideas. Maybe pick one that seems interesting to you. One would be an interior design business for salons and spas. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other one, which struck me as kind of funny, would be an apparel business for gas stations.
Okay.
So like, no pressure, you know, if I can.
I'm gonna go with the interior design for the
Mm-hmm.
salons and spas,
Mm-hmm.
because for me, yeah, color. I love spas,
Mm-hmm.
not so much salons, but that one definitely resonates more with me. Not sure why. But
Oh, it's certainly more imaginative. It's classier than a gas
station. Okay. Wow, that's probably the more pricey one too, you know, because you've got to get yourself set up. I'm assuming that this is an actual brick and mortar. It's not something out of someone's house. We're talking lower budget.
Good question. Let's say it's sort of medium. You know, maybe you don't have an office yet, but let's say you've either got a garage or you have access to a load of amazing resources, or perhaps, you know, relationships with a couple of local outlets, shall we say.
Okay. Well, I'm going to base it on the skill that I have now. Mm-hmm. If you had asked me this 2 years ago, a year ago, it probably would be a very different answer. Mm-hmm. The interior design, the first thing that I would do is I would go to Canva. Mm-hmm. Canva.com.
Love it.
And I would go through their templates and I would look and see if there was anything that resonated with me color-wise. There is a phenomenal quiz, a style quiz that is out on the internet right now, created by a web developer that helps you find your color, your style, those kinds of things. Because with Sabila, how do you spell her last name? Anyway, it is absolutely phenomenal. She was written up in Try Interact, the quiz people, and anyway, it would help. Let me see, Sabila, Sibila Ribeiro, RIBEIRO.com is the website address, but it would help create the feel. Design.
Gotcha. So the
salons and spas, like you have to know what it is you want your client to experience, and that starts with your logo, and with your
visuals.
Yeah, exactly.
Gotcha.
The color, those kinds of things. To me, huge amount of time needs to be spent on that. Yeah, there's no budget, but you know what? Canva's really, really good. And you take a quiz like the one that I just described, you will have a much better understanding of what you're trying to achieve. So that would be the first thing that I would do. The next thing that I would do, well, I probably would do it in tandem, simply because you're not going to be able to spend all day, every day trying to get this creative done, because you'll burn out. I would sit down and I would make a list of every single person that I knew that I could talk to and let them know, this is what I'm doing. I need your help. Learn very early on to ask for help. And I know you're probably not surprised that I say that, because I've been doing that on LinkedIn. I've been doing it since November. I readily ask for help. I need to go from point A to point B. I need help. And it's amazing. Human beings want to help.
Mm-hmm.
They're happy to help. They'll come on like gangbusters. Yeah, you'll probably have a few outliers that may be jealous about what you're doing and not be happy and be a naysayer and all the rest of it. But yeah, just as I say, they're entitled to their opinion. Just ignore it. But then get those people on board. Let them know what's coming. Let them know you need their help in spreading the word. Let's see what else. We're not going to have an actual location like outside, but inside. Let's say it's a room in your home or in the garage. You have to create the experience now that your visual has people going, oh, this sounds so great. I like the idea. I like the services. I like the feel of what he is saying to me that is going to be the outcome. Now you have to create the environment, and you can do that. Yeah, you can do that. You don't have to spend a lot of money, but you can do that, whether it's in your garage or somewhere in your home. And then just start telling people, I'm open for business. Whether you feel like you are or not, doesn't matter. Just start. Just say, hey, I'm here. Let all of your friends and contacts know that you're open for business. And one of the things that you can do, again in Canva, you could have created a postcard. I mean, you can print them off in your own printer, cut them up with a paper cutter, get some card stock, and give discount codes, give freebies. Go to your if you're in a town, go to the local high school, offer it to the teachers, right? Just say, hey, can you put these in the lunchroom? I'm just starting a new business. I have teachers in my family, and they get stuff all the time in there, and they love it. So this is
I've
cool.
never heard of that. They're so well connected too.
Oh, totally.
Goodness.
And they talk to each other. I mean, they're an amazing network. Network. So, but get some visual out there. Another thing that you can do is try and work with other small businesses that are local and do reciprocal. I'll put your cards here if you'll put my cards in your office. So you've got the small businesses, whether it's a restaurant, it could be a chiropractor, it could be a garden center, who knows what it could be, but start working at some reciprocal arrangements of exposure to your business card, to your offer, whatever it might be. Get a website. It does not have to be anything more than one page. And on that website, you need to have something that you can offer to the folks that come there that is of value, that they would want to give you their email address for. And it could be a document that talks about all the different hair products that you recommend. What are your best? It could be something on styling. It could be something on maintaining color in hair that you do. I mean, there's lots of different things that you could educate your consumer about your business and what it is.
That is fascinating. That's an angle I hadn't considered, that So you're an interior designer going after salons and spas, but if you go after educating or encouraging people, here's ways that you can look or things that you can do so that you're using the salon or using the spa more. You're helping to send them business.
Yeah, you can. Excuse me. I think I was so involved in the salon creation, I forgot it was actually an interior design. But it's the same thing applies.
Yeah.
As a designer,
exactly,
you can be creating a document that brings up all of the what's the word I want? All of the options, all of the things that a salon or spa owner needs to take into consideration when they're opening their salon or their spa. Because often, if you're new, you don't know it. You don't know it all. There's so many, oh, I didn't know that. Oh, I didn't know that, right? I mean, you might know how to cut hair, and you might have shampoos and conditioners that you prefer. You might have color that you prefer. But what about the insurance that you need to get? And what about the legal documents that you need to have? Are you going to have employees? Are you not going to have employees? If you are, then you need to, right? There all of a sudden there's all this stuff that gets thrown at you. Absolutely must have something on the website that captures email addresses. Build your list, and then you're sending them ideas and thoughts, and every week they're getting information from you, and they're getting education from you, and they're getting your perspective on these industries, salons and spas. You might even showcase some from other parts of the world, giving ideas and thoughts and that kind of thing. But it's through that you're going to capture the imagination of the want-to-be salon spa owner. And that's who your customer is. And you want them to have you top of mind when they're ready to actually open their salon, ready to take that journey. So yeah.
That is a great list. And what's great is that it's straight out of your own personal playbook and how you launched your own podcast and what you're doing yourself. No, that's great. Cool. I think that's I have no interest in interior design, but all of a sudden now I do.
Our youngest daughter is an interior designer.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and our other business, my husband, he's the one that works in it and runs it, is it's modern art woodwork, and he does kitchen and bathroom renovation, plus he builds furniture and all that kind of stuff. So my dad, he and his brother and another man, they had the largest cabinet manufacturer in Western Canada while I was growing up. So renovation, design, interiors, all of that kind of stuff I've
perfect.
Been immersed in my own life. Yeah.
Well, cool. All right. So the last section here is wrapping up. We have. So you shared your favorite quote from Maya Angelou: "When you know better, do better." Can you unpack that? Why is that meaningful to you?
I think it's meaningful to me because we tend to be really hard on ourselves. We get upset when we don't know something, or we have done something and we didn't understand the fullness of it or the implication of it. I think of parenting, right? These little beings do not come into our world with an owner's manual. We're flying by the seat of our pants the whole time. And you can read books until you're blue in the face. You can watch whatever you want to watch. You can listen to podcasts, all of that kind of stuff. But there isn't one person who has either written those words or spoken those words that has met your unique little being.
Mm-hmm.
And in parenting, I look back, there's absolutely things that I would do different because I know different. I have more understanding, I have more knowledge, I have more experience. But I can't beat myself up for not doing it that way 30 years ago because I didn't know. And it's not, I'm going to say it's not a crime not to know.
Mm-hmm.
Where the crime comes in is if you do know and you choose not to do better.
Yeah.
So it speaks of, stepping up. It speaks of ownership. It speaks of responsibility. It speaks of adaptability to me, and being present, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I know better.
Yeah.
I need to do better. So yeah, that's how that one speaks to me.
It's great. I think the corollary of that is to be patient with yourself and to be more forgiving, like you said. But that being patient with yourself, it's something we're not. I think a lot of us have a hard time doing. Maybe because other people in our lives are not as patient with us as we might like, and so we take that same attitude into ourselves. So that's true. Very cool. Last little thought. And partly from my understanding, I'd love to know, with this podcast and with this project that we're working on here, for being small, smart, and savvy, in like maybe one sentence, why do you think it's an important thing or a valuable thing to be highlighting small, smart, and savvy businesses?
I think that it's important because they're the backbone of society. It doesn't matter what country you live in. It doesn't matter what part of the planet you inhabit. It is the small businesses that employ the vast majority of the people. It's the small businesses that are invested in the communities that they exist in, that have a real opportunity and desire to make positive change and be a positive influence in those communities. Most businesses, most small businesses are never going to be big businesses. That's not why they went into business to start with.
Yeah, they don't
right?
want to be bigger.
That's not their goal, right? And yet they should still be supported. They should be appreciated for the niche that they fill.